Hey everybody, Chris Avalon here. It is hot, but I'm gonna still do this video. I got the fans on. I'm hoping that this rain is gonna come down. It is nice and gray outside. That sun was just like killing for the past couple of days. But besides me bitching about all of my hotness and this, that, and the third, the reason why I wanted to come online and discuss with you guys, because I know even though Pride is over, like it ended literally officially over the weekend. It is now the 3rd. Tomorrow is the 4th. It's Independence Day. I know everybody's going to be like, so what do we have to be grateful for? What do we have to be thankful for, especially with Independence Day and everything that's been happening in politics and what this idiot in the White House is doing to this country? But one of the things, I don't want to get too much into that type of politics. I want to get into this thing. That's kind of, well, I woke up this morning and I was just going through my usual messages on Facebook and this, that, and the other. And one of the videos, well, not videos, one of the web posts that I saw that I had reposted on my Facebook page was something about a poll that was done, and this is coming from the Griot, about gay men, LGBT people who are older, oppose adding a brown or black stripe. I think it's brown and black because I've seen both colors. They have a problem with adding brown and black colors, stripes, to the Pride flag. A lot of people I've noticed have had problems with this. This is a very controversial subject. I kind of go back and forth in my thoughts, and I'm going to give my thoughts in a minute, but I just wanted to kind of like break down this whole thing in regards of the Pride flag and what it all means. To me, I always believed that the Pride flag was supposed to be about being proud of being openly queer. I love the word queer. I know a lot of people have a problem with the word. They feel like it's a negative. I feel like just like how we've taken other words that are negatives and turn them into a positive, I feel like queer is a positive word too. To me, queer is unique. Queer is stepping outside the colored lines. It's being different from what is considered the norm, because I don't know why anybody would want to be normal, or what, or better yet, what is normal. So to me, I've always felt like the Pride flag was about that. It's all about unity. We're always supposed to be together. We're one. We're united. We're at a united front, you know, especially like when, what was it? The history basically tells us we're coming up on the 50th anniversary next year of the Stonewall riots, which happened when the police raided a nightclub in New York. You know, gay clubs and bars and stuff weren't legal in those times. It was pretty much, you could be jailed for being gay. You could be jailed for holding hands with someone of the same sex. The first time it happened was at a place called, I believe, Cafeteria in the Bay Area in 1966. That's when, like, the first battle riot started. But the real big one didn't happen until 3 years later when we had Sylvia Rivera and we had, oh my God, I forgot. Marsha P. Johnson, where, you know, they were out there and a bunch of queens were out there fighting, and it got so bad the police locked themselves and barricaded themselves inside of Stonewall to prevent themselves from being attacked because they were overwhelmed by the queer community who were just sick and tired of their bullshit and raiding a lot of their places, or basically setting them up, which would be, a lot of times cops will go into these places, they'd buy you a drink, they'd seduce you, they'd caress your leg, this, that, and the other, and if you took the bait, you clearly were it was entrapment, basically. So, as far as we've come, and people of color have pretty much been at the foundation of getting us to where we are today. And the fact that there's this overall racism that exists in our community, I feel like is a problem. And I feel like that's probably why people are upset about it, because they feel like, well, the rainbow flag is supposed to be about unity. Why do you want to add other colors and this, that, and the other to it? And I feel like the reason why people want to add those brown and black colors is because the bottom line is, and this is the conversation that we need to be having, people of color who are gay, queer people of color, or I call them QPOCs, don't feel included. They don't feel like that they are a part of this community that is supposed to be about inclusion and tolerance and love and all the things that comes along with that. So people feel like by adding these colors to the flag, that gives them some sort of acknowledgement. It gives them some sort of validation. Me personally, I don't give a shit. I don't give a fuck if you don't. I don't look through people for validation, because I've had a strong enough foundation based off the friends that I have and the people who I've had in my life over the years, who have pretty much helped me become the strong individual that I am today. I have my good days and my bad days where I feel sad or whatever the case is, but overall, where the the strength of who I am as a human being comes from the people that I've surrounded myself with. And these are mainly, of course, a lot of friends of mine who happen to be people of color. I am a person of color as well. I'm mixed with a whole lot of shit that I'm not going to get into on this thing. But, so basically what they were saying, like, the poll was taken by 880 LGBTQ adults from around the United States, and is touted as being one of the most comprehensive national polls to date on how LGBTQ Americans live in 2018. So the results found that gay men, white of course, and baby boomers were most resistant to updating the pride flag by adding a black or brown stripe to represent LGBTQ people of color. Meanwhile, millennials and non-white LGBTQ people were more inclined to support inclusivity. So, of course, it's like the younger generation kind of, because they've kind of been, the millennials have been introduced to what it is to be gay. They have a whole different outlook on it. It's like, look, the millennials are the ones who are now the generation of non-binary and all the different names and that they've come up with in regards of queer identity. So, to me, I feel like if people want to have a flag, because if people want to have a flag where they want to incorporate the black and brown colors, by all means, do that. I'm sure you can go online and look it up and see where you could buy a flag that has the brown and black colors added to it. You can just do all those things, but I feel like to force the main flag or to be like, you need to put these colors on there, I don't think that needs to be done. I think everybody should just be their individual self. Or like I said, the conversation that needs to be had is, why do we have a black pride separate from the mainstream one? I remember I had a friend who is Dominican, and I think he's relatively new to the gay scene, because I remember, like, I read the Facebook posts and this, that, and the other, and he was basically, I'm not going to shout his out, his name, I'm not going to put people on blast, but I was just, like, just remembering that when I was reading his posts, and then this is around the time that I was blocked on Facebook, so I couldn't even answer. So I was pissed, because I would have given him the lowdown on why we needed it. He was like, I don't understand why we have a black pride, because we have the mainstream one, and it doesn't make any sense to have it. And it's like, it makes perfect sense to have it, because if you go to the mainstream pride events, while in New York we have so many floats that represent different communities, if you've ever gone to Queen's Pride, you see that they have floats for the South Asian community. We have ones for different Latin ethnicities. So it's like you have the Ecuadorians, the El Salvadorians, the Colombians, you know, you have the Puerto Ricans and your Dominicans, you have, and the Central Americans. You have so many different floats that represent certain aspects of the community, because Queens, especially like Jackson Heights, where the Queen's Pride is in New York, you have a lot of Central American, South American LGBT people who live in those areas. You have a lot of Mexicans, you have a lot of Colombians, you have a lot of, you know, you have a lot of the Central South Americans. What you don't have is, you don't have a lot of Puerto Ricans and Dominicans. You'll find a lot of those, of that aspect of the Latin community, Latinx community, if you want to say it that way. You'll find a lot of them Jackson Heights, Washington Heights, and the Bronx, and parts of the Bronx. And probably parts of Brooklyn. I have like the Puerto Rican side of my family. They all live in Brooklyn, like Brownsville, East New York, that sort of thing. But to me, I just feel like if you want to have the flag that represents that, if you want to have the black and the brown flag, I welcome it. Walk around, have it hanging half staff for, you know, Independence Day tomorrow, or for the month of June, or just have it in your house, hanging on your wall. Have it wherever you want to have it. But I do feel like we need to be included in part of the conversation. That's the conversation that needs to be had. We need to be able to be open enough to have the conversation about race in the queer community, and how we don't have a lot of places that are for queer people of color who want to let their voices be heard. I have friends who have parties, like my friend John, who has a party that he's incorporating more parties, like for the Latinx community, the black community who are into leather, who are into places like, if you go to the Eagle or Rock Bar, stuff like that. So it's like the bear community, the leather community. If you don't see yourself being represented, you have to create a lot of these visuals. You have to create or as Gandhi said, be the change you want to see in the world. That's how I live my motto. So like I said, I welcome the fact that we should have this flag. If people who are white don't want to have those color stripes on their flag, don't get a flag with the color stripes on it, the black and brown stripes. You can keep your regular rainbow flag. If you're a person of color who wants to have the flag with those colors, have those colors. Wear it proudly. Go to the pride parades with that flag. Or like I said, decorate your home with it. And so I just think, like, this argument of people trying to say, like, because it was really getting heated on my Facebook page, in the comments. And it was just, like, people who were saying, like, well, racism is a big deal in America. It's not big anywhere else. I'm like, really? Because I could have sworn, like, there's this thing now where I'm seeing a lot of prime ministers, I'm seeing a lot of presidents of other countries who are trying to model the way things are done in regards of how they come at immigration policies, trying to scare white people, because white people, there's a poll that was done also that white people are going to be the minority in like the next 50 years. So you have to kind of worry about a lot of these things that are going to be changing, a lot of things that's going to be happening. So a lot of fear mongering starts in between a lot of these things that are starting to come out. We're becoming the minority. Oh my God, we're going to be overrun by the Latin community because they're popping out so many babies and this, that, and the other. And we can't have that. Got to start deporting. So this is where all of this stuff comes from. Meanwhile, when you're looking at a lot of the American infrastructure, and I'm sure in other places, you're noticing a lot of farming is going down. We're losing a lot of money. The TARP payments, there's like, the tariff. I mean, it doesn't say TARP. But, we just have so much going on in this country where everything is just going downhill and people are just looking the other way and this, that, and the third. But one of the things I'll just continue to focus on this and the pride flag. I don't know why it's a big deal for a lot of people. Live and let live. That's what I say. I welcome all different flags. We have so many different flags that represent so many aspects of the community. We have flags that, we have the trans community has their own flag. We have bisexuals have their own flag. The leather community has their own flag. What I didn't know is one of my Facebook friends pointed out to me was that initially the leather flag had a bear on it. But then the bear community wanted their own symbol. So they took the bear off. Became their symbol. So there's always going to be people like, okay, so if we add the black and brown, then the Asian community is going to, so where's my color? The Native American two-spirited is what they like to be, is what Native Americans like to be called, two-spirited. Where's our color added to the stripe? Next thing you know, you're going to have a goddamn quilt. So, and it's going to be too much. So, while we all have our individual flags, and I've seen flags too where it's like, people have tricked it out where it's like they have the Puerto Rican colors mixed in, the Puerto Rican flag mixed in with the pride flag. So they got the rainbow colors on the outer part, and then inside with the triangle you have like the Puerto Rican flag and stuff like that. So people have tricked out their flags. There's a way you can trick out your flag and make yourself a part of the community and included. And I feel like the only way we're going to be included is by having these conversations and keeping it friendly and cute. Even though I know it's hard because a lot of times people cannot have a conversation about race and things of that nature without it becoming personal, without people getting nasty, without people making cheap shots and low blows and name calling and this, that, and the other. And we have to learn to have these conversations about race without taking it there. So I'm hoping that this video helps in some sort of way. I would like to hear your comments about this. I would like to know your thoughts. Post your comments, like, subscribe, do what you all need to do, but I just feel like this is my thoughts on this, and we still have a long way to go, even though I feel like, with World Pride coming up in New York next year, the 15th anniversary of the Stonewall riots, there's a lot of things we need to address in regards of, especially race within the queer community, because it exists, and it's a problem, and the only time people of color should not be acknowledged, in the queer community is for those Mandingo stereotypes, or a lot of the stereotypes where it comes with fetishizing people of color for your own, fantasy or whatever the case is. That shouldn't be the only time we're acknowledged. We should have a seat at the table. We should demand a seat at the table, and we should continue having these conversations. So, thank you all for watching. I love you all for watching. Definitely, if you want to keep up with a lot of my videos and my content, please subscribe, click the bell, so that way I'll be uploading more videos. And I also do a radio show every Saturday, 2 to 4 on oildigitalradio.com. Be sure to download the app. Also, look me up, Chris Avalon, on iTunes, Stitcher. I had to remember all this off the top of my head. Also, yeah, I think I pretty much covered it. Oh, add me on Twitter, at Chris Avalon NYC. Look me up on Facebook. Add me. Tell me if you like my posts, my videos, my content. Please share, do all this other stuff. Get this conversation going and open, because it is a conversation that is long overdue. And quite frankly, I'm sick and tired of seeing these posts and nothing is changing in regards to it. So, once again, love you all for watching. Talk to you soon.